Welcome to the public meeting for the proposed zoning bylaw amendment of 39 2nd Street East on Tuesday, July 16th, 2024 at 4 p.m. Call to order at 4 o'clock. We acknowledge that the town of Kirkland Lake is located on the traditional territory of Algonquin peoples, including Beaver House First Nation and unceded territory of other Indigenous peoples. We recognize the presence of the Algonquin, Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, Cree, and Métis people in our community since time immemorial and honor their stewardship and care of these lands. We hereby affirm our continued commitment and responsibility to reconciliation. Item number 2, declaration of pecuniary interest. Any declarations from the table? None noted this evening. Item number 3, summary of reports. Item 3.1, supplemental, proposed zoning bylaw amendment, 39 2nd Street East. Dan Labrador, Director of Development and Enterprise Services, and Brooklyn Rosen, Acting Planning Administrator. Welcome and thank you.
You, Madam Mayor, Council. The owners of 39 2nd Street East have applied for an amendment to the town zoning bylaw and schedules, bylaw 21-032, to rezone the lands from institutional to residential medium density special exception R2-02 in order to permit 4 residential units within the existing building. Currently, the property is designated as residential in the town's official plan, and it is zoned as institutional. Access to the property is on 2nd Street East and Churchill Drive, as it's a corner lot. The lot area is 751.61 square meters with a frontage of 25.9 meters. There is, the existing structure is a church with an attached garage. And the building is serviced with municipal water, sewage, and storm drainage. So the proposal is consistent with provincial policy statement 2020, the PPS. It's considered a settlement area under section 1.1.3. Settlement areas are meant to be the focus of growth and development. The proposed amendment would facilitate the redevelopment of existing building stock in conformity with regulations of the PPS. It also promotes residential growth. The PPS, also promotes residential growth in locations that are already municipally serviced, which the lot is. As for the town's official plan, section 2.5.2 states that the predominant use of land for the residential designation shall be residential dwelling units. Section 2.5.4 encourages development to be located near commercial nodes and community facilities to support increased pedestrian activity and mixed use development. So that would be in relation to the residential medium density zone. So the surrounding uses to that property is institutional, town center commercial, neighborhood commercial, and low density residential. And then under section 2.5.4.2, any new development or redevelopment needs to ensure that it has adequate municipal services. For the current designation by the zoning bylaw, should we change it to residential medium density, that would permit 4-plex. However, special exceptions would be required to recognize the building's zoning deficiency. So first, reduction to the minimum front yard setback is required from 6 meters to 5.49 meters. A reduction of the interior side yard setback from 3 meters to 1.21 meters. An increase to the permitted encroachment of a porch into the front yard setback from 2.5 meters to 2.73 meters. And to permit outdoor staircases to encroach into the front yard setback where they are currently only permitted to encroach in the rear yard. On May 30th, 2024, the Kirkland Lake Planning Advisory Committee recommended to approve the proposed zoning amendment. And as per the supplemental report provided by JL Richards and Associates, which are the town's planning consultants, they have also recommended to approve the zoning amendment. That is everything. If there are questions.
Nope, it is the public meeting, so thank you. Item number 4, confirmation of notice. Madam Deputy Clerk, how was notice given?
Notice that the public meeting was given in accordance with section 34:10.1 and 34:10.2 of the Planning Act and the Town of Kirkland Lake's notice bylaw 2247 by publishing said notice on the town's website at least 14 days in advance and as of June 18th, 2024. Notice was published in the Northern News on June 20th, 2024. Supplemental notice was coordinated within the town's various social media streams, the June municipal update, and within daily local radio broadcast scripts.
Thank you. Item number 5, correspondence received. Madam Deputy Clerk, was there any correspondence received by members of the public surrounding this proposed change?
Madam Chair, I confirm that no correspondence was received by the clerk's office in relation to the proposed rezoning of 39 Second Street East.
Thank you. Item number 6, comments and questions from members of the public. I would like to remind council that as this is a public meeting, there is no discussion or debate with members of the public. If there are still members of the public who wish to make their representation past 4:40 this evening, this public meeting will recess and a further public meeting will need to be scheduled by the clerk's office. Madam Deputy Clerk, has anyone registered previously to provide comments?
Madam Chair, I confirm that no one has reached the clerk's office to register or to request to participate electronically in this meeting.
Perfect. I will now invite members of the public to line up in the center and present yourself at the podium. You will each have an opportunity to provide your comments or pose questions. You may only speak once. Just a reminder to provide your name and address for the deputy clerk. Any members of the public here to speak on this matter? None noted. Item number 8, consideration of proposed bylaw. Madam Deputy Clerk, please read the directions stemming from this public meeting.
That council received comments, questions from members of the public, if any, and that the draft bylaw to amend zoning bylaw number 21-032 to rezone certain lands from institutional to residential medium density, special R2-02, 39 Second Street East as presented, be brought forward for 3 readings at the August 13th, 2024 regular meeting of council.
This is the recommendation moving forward. Item number 9 is adjournment, and this concludes the public meeting for the proposed rezoning of 39 Second Street East. We will now recess in between the public and council meetings to wait for a member of the community to delegate. So we are now in recess. Welcome to the regular council meeting of Tuesday, July 16th, 2024 in council chambers and via Zoom. Call to order item number 1 will be at 4:28 this evening. And we shall have a moment of silence. Item number 2, approval of the agenda.
Moved by Councillor Dolly Dakin, seconded by Councillor Rad Chaba. Be it resolved that the agenda for the regular meeting of council held on Tuesday, July 16th, 2024 be approved as circulated, and that section 6 of the procedural bylaw 15-075 as amended be suspended to allow for the regular business of council to commence prior to 4:40 p.m.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item number 3, declaration of pecuniary interest. Councillor Owen.
Through your worship, I, Rick Owen, am declaring the deemed pecuniary interest on the agenda of the meeting dated July 16th, open meeting, agenda item number 8.7, agenda title, bylaw number 24-059. It is deemed the matter may affect my parent, my spouse, or my child. The nature of my interest is as follows. My wife Charlene is on the Soccer Association Executive.
Thank you, sir. Counselor Shava?
Thank you, through you, your worship. I will be declaring conflict of interest on a few items this evening. We'll start from item number 6.1 and 8.3. So I, Lord Shava, am declaring declaring interest on the agenda of the meeting dated July 16th, 2024, open meeting. Agenda items 6.1 and 8.3. Agenda title is 2024 DEV 012, request to purchase 300 Archer Drive, and that of item 8.3 is the bylaw hashtag 24-055, executing land sale 300 Archer Drive. It is indirect. My nature of interest is as follows. My engineering firm is a consultant to the Timiskaming Native Women Support Group. And
Yes, several.
yeah, item 8.8. I love Shava, declaring indirect, declaring interest in the agenda of the meeting dated July 16, 2024, not open meeting. Agenda item 8.8. Agenda title is 24-060. Bylaw hashtag 24-060. Execution bylaw SPCA 60 Goldfish Road. Sign indirect. The nature of my interest is as follows. Shava Testing Services, STS, work with the owner of 60 Goldfish Road. And I have item number 6.2. I, Lord Shava, declaring indirect, declaring interest in the agenda of the meeting dated July 6, 2024, open meeting. Item 6.2 is the site plan control agreement application, 300 Archer Drive, and it's an indirect. Again, my engineering firm is a consultant to Timiskaming Native Women Support. And the last one is item 8.110. So I, Lord Shava, declaring direct, declaring interest in the agenda of the meeting dated July 16, 2024, open meeting. Agenda item 8.10 is bylaw hashtag 24-062. Agenda title is execution bylaw SPCA 300 Archer Drive. It's an indirect. Justice Services is a consultant to this group.
Thank you. Counselor Owens?
I, Casey Howes, am declaring a direct pecuniary interest on agenda dated July 16th, open meeting, items 6.3 and 8.9. Agenda titles are the site plan agreement application for 31 Churchill Drive and the accompanying bylaw 24-061. It is direct, although I will not check off may potentially because it will not affect me financially, but anyway. The nature of my interest is as follow. Although I don't work at École Catholique Assomption, I'm an employee of the Conseil Scolaire Catholique de District de Grande-Rivière, who own the school.
Anything further? Over items noted. Thank you, council. Item number 4, petitions and delegations. 4.1, update from Blanche River Health, Kirkland Lake site. George Manslife, President and Chief Executive Officer. You may, step up to the podium Thank you and welcome.
Thank you so much for having me today. Again, George Van Slyke, CEO of Blanche River Health. Fairly new to the community. I moved here last year, so this is my first time meeting all of you, so thank you for having me here. I also submitted in advance a one-pager that talks about the major challenges that the hospital right now, the hospitals actually are going through. And I'm not just speaking for Blanche River Health. This is a challenge that most of the hospitals in Ontario are experiencing. So my hope for this afternoon is to go through just the main highlights of these challenges and to also leave opportunities for questions if you have any. In particular, my purpose for coming here is not just talk about their problems. I'm sure you don't have a lot of that, but really to have that face-to-face starting of a relationship where the hospitals will be actively coming over if you need us to give you updates. So the document that I sent, the first part just talks about the current logistics of the two hospitals operating at an approximately $39 million a year. And the second page to that, which again highlights the main challenges, starting with the physician recruitment. You're probably seeing a lot of our media announcements and posts and conversations around physician recruitment. And in fact, just to give you a bit of a briefer, the hospitals at some point had about 12 physicians and we were down to 5. And as you can imagine, the biggest impact to the community, this is not just a hospital problem, it's the entire community problem. Because right now people have to wait 3 or 4 months just to get an appointment with their family physicians. And the challenge is that the same group of doctors that's providing services to the community are also the same ones that are keeping our doors open, specifically the emergency services. So as an ongoing challenge right now, I stand in front of you and I can tell you that closure of our emergencies can happen still at any given time. We are so not out of the woods yet. I can also share with you some of the information there around what we were doing to increase our recruitment and retention, which is to put more financial resources that at this point is not funded by a government entity or any other funder except for our own internal budget. So to give you an idea, to recruit a single physician is about $300,000 from the get-go. And also there's retention opportunities there too, which right now, again, the hospitals are shouldering. So what we've done so far, we just recently partnered with the multicultural group, again, having the social arm of the operations very critical. We've also been sending our recruiter to places like the UK because there's so many Canadian medical students that are finishing their program outside Canada, and we're trying to reach out to that population because the standards of UK in Canada, specifically the credentialing process is more similar than other countries. And we're also offering a community referral incentive, which pretty much you can do wherever you are in the world. If you are successful in referring somebody that could be licensed to work in Ontario and in Blanche River Health, then you are more than welcome to receive the financial incentive for up to $2,000. The other thing too, where I think the municipality and the communities can get behind on, we have started a physician recruitment and retention committee, and that group is composed of businesses, the foundation, hospital employees, the family health teams, and we're also hoping to get participation from the municipalities. And the whole intent is that what are the things that we can do as communities to be more welcoming? Because when we are recruiting, we're not just recruiting the physicians, we're also recruiting spouses, family members. They look at their school system, they look at the safety of the communities, they look at what kinds of recreational activities are available. So it is a community effort, and what we're hoping to do once we are off the ground is to be able to increase that awareness from people in terms of what they can do to participate. Moving on to the second one, which is the Health and Human Resources Challenge. Just so, again, a bit of a background, we are paying approximately $500,000 to $600,000 a month for agency support. And this is a staggering amount, especially when every dollar counts, but we are trying to keep our doors and services open. In recruiting specifically critical care nurses, like for ICU and emergency, physiotherapists, respiratory therapists. There's so many positions right now that are so difficult to recruit. And we are competing with every single community in the province. We're competing with every other provinces. We're competing internationally, and the shortage is making it really difficult to talk about quality improvement when all you keep doing is recruitment and orientation, and then people go away because the next big thing is just around the corner. And what are we doing to be able to stay afloat and competitive when it comes to recruitment? The last piece, which is not gonna be surprising to many people perhaps, but the state of the finances of the hospitals in Ontario, and I'm not talking about Blanche River Health, I'm speaking about 90% of the hospitals in this province are having financial constraints. And so many factors are contributing to that, but one of the things was obviously the one I mentioned, trying to keep our operations afloat through agency support is costing us astronomically. And, all the inflation post-COVID and so on and so forth. So we're working closely with our government to make sure that there's a long-term plan in terms of mitigating all these challenges. So that's where we're at this point. It's not all doom and gloom. We do have a lot of things that are going well for us and a lot of efforts, tremendous efforts from many different professionals and team members of the hospital. We've been getting a lot of support from the community, so which is really helpful. But right now, we're just doing our best, and we're hoping that by regular communication, whether it's through this format or we started a community building as well, and we are open to engaging with different groups of people as needed to get the message across. Here's where we're at. Any questions for me?
Thank you very much. We do appreciate your time. Council does not normally engage with delegates. I do encourage all members of council to reach out to you in your office, because I know very well that you are open to any of our concerns or our questions. You have been a great community partner all along with the municipality, so we look forward to being a good, positive community partner with you as well as you move on through this journey of recruitment. We know how important it is for our community, so we definitely thank you for your time. And again, I encourage members of council to reach out to you in your office.
Thank you so much.
Thank
And I have copies of our annual report, just 4 copies, just for.
Oh, excellent. Yeah.
Maybe I'll just put it.
Yeah. We
And then,
appreciate that.
Please reach out at any point, and thank you so much for the time.
Thank you so much, Madam Clerk.
Point of privilege, please. I have a point of privilege.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Yes, I believe, way back, we were talking about maybe having, chair of, the director of NASM delegation. Is that something that, you're still working on?
So thank you for that question. That is a question for our clerk.
Okay,
So yes, so that is something that when she returns,
okay,
I will get you that answer.
thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Clerk.
Moved by Councillor Casey Owens, seconded by Councillor Rick Owen, be it resolved that the delegation entitled Update from Blanche River Health, Clifton Lake site be received for information purposes.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item number 5, acceptance of minutes and recommendations. 5.1, council minutes.
Moved by Councillor Rick Owens, seconded by Councillor Janice Ranger, be it resolved that council approve the minutes of the following meeting. Minutes of the regular meeting of council held June 18th, 2024.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item number 5.2, local and regional board minutes.
Moved by Councillor Lad Shaba, seconded by Councillor Dolly Dykens, be it resolved that council receive the minutes of the following meetings. Minutes of the Clifton Lake Public Library Board held May 16th, 2024, and minutes of the Timiskaming Health Unit Board of Health held May 1st, 2024.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item number 6, reports of municipal officers and communications. 6.1, request to purchase 300 Archers Drive, Brooklyn LaRosan, acting planning administrator. Thank you for joining us once more.
Madam Ranch Council. Timiskaming Native Women's Support Group submitted a request to purchase 300 Archer Drive to build a modular housing construction facility. The execution bylaw is being presented to formalize the offer of purchase and to allow for a site plan control agreement to be presented to develop the site. The lot was surveyed and registered as parts 1 and 2 of Plan 54R6439. This being assigned the address of 300 Archer Drive. Council resolved to sell the land on March 19th, 2024. In a closed session of council. And notice was circulated on the town's website July 5th, 2024, and in the Northern Daily News, July 11th, 2024. The sale of land will materialize a revenue of $5 in the spirit of reconciliation. I do want to note that it will produce future industrial tax revenue and is an excellent opportunity for economic development in the community by introducing jobs and training opportunities for our Indigenous community. And I believe that was everything for that. The bylaw for the land sales being presented later.
Thank you. Any questions from members of council? Nothing noted. Deputy Clerk, you may proceed.
Right, moved by Councillor Janice Ranger, seconded by Councillor Casey Owen. Be it resolved that report number 2024-DEV-012 entitled Request to Purchase Part Mining Claims L1354 and L6787, Part 1 and 2 of Plan 54R-6439, 300 Archer Drive, be received for information.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item number 6.2, Site Plan Control Agreement Application, 300 Archers Drive. Brooklyn, you may proceed.
Through you, Madam Mayor to Council. In order to develop 300 Archer Drive, the site plan control agreement was required by the town. The agreement is for the development of a 22,000 square foot building to serve as a modular housing manufacturing facility and a 9,795 square foot building to serve as a support building to the manufacturing operations. Site plan control is required to ensure that development meets the needs of the community, and industrial lots are inclusive in the town's requirements for site plan control. The applicants cannot develop the lot or be issued building permits until the site plan control agreement has been completed. The user fee of $2,190 was collected, a portion of which recovers the legal costs of the town registering the agreement on title with the land. With that, are there any questions?
Any questions from members of council? None noted. Deputy Clerk.
Moved by Councillor Janice Ranger, seconded by Councillor Rick Owen. Be it resolved that report number 2024-DEV-020 entitled Site Plan Control Agreement Application -300 Archer Drive be received, and that council approves the proposed site plan control agreement for 300 Archer Drive, and that council authorize the mayor and municipal clerk to execute the site plan control agreement between the corporation of the town of Kirkland Lake and Temiskaming Native Women's Support Group for the subject property and all appropriate documents as may be required. And finally, that subsection 2.2(1) of the town's notice bylaw be lifted to allow for the authorizing bylaw to be given 3 readings on July 16th, 2024.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Thank you. Item number 6.3, Site Plan Control Agreement Application, 31 Churchill Drive. Brooklyn, you may proceed.
Madam Mayor to Council. A site plan control application was received by the Conseil Fédéral Catholique du District de Montréal for 31 Churchill Drive. The application is for exterior site work renovations, including changes to the parking layout, the bus route, grading changes and resurfacing, and additional fencing and signage on the property. Institutional lots are also inclusive in the town's requirements for site plan control. Additionally, the property did not enter into a site plan control agreement when it was initially developed. as it was likely not a requirement at the time. To ensure that everything is up to current standards, staff recommend that we enter into a site plan control agreement with the applicant. There was a application fee of 2,190 submitted. Again, a portion of that goes to recovering the legal costs of registering the agreement on title. That's everything. If there are any questions?
Any questions from members of council? Councillor Owen?
Yes, I did talk to our representatives from Development and Enterprise Department and received some explanation. My concern is the work has already started on that. In fact, it's quite advanced. And we have not, as a council, approved the site plan for that. No work should have started without the site plan first being approved. Now, I understand the circumstances in this because Brooklyn was kind enough to explain to me the situation. And I understand that, but this has been an ongoing issue for years and years. Back when I was reporting on council, I would see things like this happen on a regular basis. But I know that our department is aware of it and they're going to do their best. So I'm not blaming staff, but they've inherited a historic problem. But hopefully in time, we will see less and less people starting. In this case, it's not a big issue. But it could be a change in the neighborhood, but the neighbors may not want it, right? And then it would become a big issue and we don't need those aggravations at the council table. So thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you. Brooklyn.
Anything further from members of council? Nothing noted. Madam Deputy Clerk?
Moved by Councillor Lad Shaba, seconded by Councillor Janice Ranger. Be it resolved that report number 2024-GED-021 entitled Site Plan Control Agreement Application -31 Churchill Drive be received, and that council approve the proposed site plan control agreement for 31 Churchill Drive, and that council authorize the mayor and municipal clerk to execute the site plan control agreement between the corporation of the town of Kirkland Lake and Conseil Scolaire Catholique des Districts de Grande-Rivière, CSC DGR, for the subject property and all appropriate documents as may be required. And finally, that subsection 2.21 of the town's notice bylaw be lifted to allow for the authorizing bylaw to be given 3 readings on July 16th, 2024.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Thank you. Item number 6.4, 2024-2025 Connecting Links Program Funding Announcement, Town of Kirkland Lake Project. Alan Smith, Chief Administrative Officer.
Madam Mayor, to members of the council. In 2023, the town applied for funding through the Ontario Ministry of Transportation's 2024-2025 Connecting Links Program. At the end of May, the town received a letter from the MTO advising the town of Kirkland Lake had been selected as a successful recipient of $2,999,554 for this 2-year project towards the resurfacing of Government Road, Highway 66. More precisely from Goldthorpe Road, 850 meters east to the Chateau Drive area. The phase 1 of this project consists of design and engineering work, tender package development, project management, and a request for proposal will be issued in the coming days for that work. Our intent is also to have the tender issued for the construction of the work, probably by the end of the year for phase 2 of the construction. This way, we'll be able to provide much earlier notice of the work to potential bidders. However, for this to occur, administration is recommending that $327,134 associated with stage 2 be sourced from the 2025 budget by approving this amount now from the working capital reserve in 2025. This way, staff do not have to wait for budget approval in 2025, which would delay the issuing of the tender. Furthermore, the town needs to formalize a contribution agreement with the province regarding this project To be proactive, administration is seeking approval to execute the said agreement and any auxiliary contracts. We should be receiving agreement from the province shortly. I was told sometime in July. And they'll welcome any questions.
Thank you. Before opening to the table to questions, I just want to reiterate how important it is that we are moving forward with approving pre-budget 2025. As I've stated time and time again, we are looking forward to forward financial forecasting. It's only taken us 6 years, so we're moving ahead, and I am very, very thankful that the CAO and the Treasury Department has brought this proposal, because we have failed to provide our community with the road work necessary and the road work we promised for far too long. This is a huge step forward, and I want to congratulate staff for doing this. It is very vital that when we say we're going to do something, we don't sit on our hands before we do it. Councillor Owens.
Through you, Madam Mayor, my comments from the same direction. Is there anything as a council we can do to change the words probably will be issued by the end of the year to will be issued by the end of the RFP? Because you use the word probably, and Town of Kirk Lake probably means sometime. And sometime, like last budget deliberations, I had said, like, we need action, we need to see our tax dollars working for us, we need to see streets, sidewalks, we need to see something, and I still haven't seen much of it. So what can we do to make sure that this happens in 2024, that we sign a contract with a very few contractors that are willing to or can work in Kirkland to do this?
Be back right to the council. So when we issue the RFP for the engineering design work, and that will also include developing the tender package. In that RFP, we're going to make it clear that all the work, the engineering work, and the tender package has to be finished by November. And then we will issue the tender. Will be December, okay? Then it will close early January, but that will give, already we're at, about 5 months ahead of schedule that we normally would be. And so that is our plan. I did talk to the manager of procurement prior to this meeting, and we had a discussion about that, and that's going to be in the RFP, which is now currently drafting. And we want the RFP out by Friday, at no latest Monday. So
Quick follow-up.
Follow-up.
I'm going to three Madam Mayor, the scripts and wheel on this one. Why November? Why
they're
October? Like,
sure, if you met there too, Councilor Owens. It's my understanding that the protocol or the time required to develop such engineering documents and also the tender package would take that time. You know, when we issue the RFP for this work, usually the issue is for 3 or 4 weeks, maximum a month to circulate. Then the time we get back to analyze the proposals, then to have the company do the engineering work, and the tender package will take some time. So that's why that time period, you know, just given just I think like the recent experience that I've had with some of the road works, that it does take that amount of time to do that type of work. But as soon as it's finished, again, we're going to be issuing the tender at the end of the year. But again, we already had a schedule to do it that way.
Thank you. Anything further from other members of council? Nothing noted. Madam Deputy Clerk.
Moved by Councilor Rick Owens, seconded by Councilor Lad Chaba. Be resolved that report number 2024-PW-005 entitled 2024 to 2025 Connecting Links Program Funding Announcement TKL Project be received, and that council approve the municipal portion 10% of 2024 stage 1 projected costs in the issuance of a request for proposal RFP for engineering services in relation to the said project, and that the municipal portion of the project to a maximum of $6,150 be allocated in the Public Works Department's portion of the 2024 operating budget, and that council approves the municipal portion, 10% of the Stage 2 project cost totaling $327,134 be drawn from the working capital reserve in 2025, and that the mayor and municipal clerk be authorized to execute a contribution agreement and any related amendments proposed in favor of the municipality without detrimental financial impact with the Ministry of Transportation or designate for funding under the Connecting Links program towards resurfacing of Government Road Highway 66. And finally, that the execution bylaw in relation to the contribution agreement be brought forward at a future meeting.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item 6.5 supplemental update on 10-year road reconstruction plan. Alan Smith, CAO.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, to members of council. As council is aware, a revised 10-year road reconstruction plan was presented at the October 17th meeting in 2023. This plan will be updated on an annual basis, and the next update will occur at year's end. However, a lot has happened or transpired since the last update. These changes will be incorporated into the updated plan. However, it's important to bring some of these changes to council's attention now, as action is required on some of those items. As brought to council's attention during budget deliberations, the scope of the Taylor Avenue project changed quite considerably to accommodate a substantial increase in costs. The request for tender attracted one bidder. This company is unable to accommodate a 2024 project start date due to a large number of MTO projects they are currently undertaking. Administration is currently negotiating with the company as their bid was over the budgeted amount. A delay in Taylor Avenue to 2025 means a delay in the reconstruction of Tweedsmuir, for example. However, the sidewalk at Civic Park is set to be installed this year by the public works staff. The sidewalk will be made of asphalt as a temporary solution, considering that future road reconstruction of Tweedsmuir Avenue may require its replacement. This will be done in-house at a cost of approximately $15,000. It must be stressed that the town's Housing Enabling Water Systems Fund, if successful, this would mean delaying the Taylor Avenue project to 2026. The Housing Enabling Water Systems Fund is a project that will take considerable resources. This is a $13.2 million project, with the town contributing just over $3.5 million to the total cost of the project. Given the magnitude of this project and the impact on resources, the town does not have the capacity to cash flow back-to-back large projects. Now, in a few minutes, I'm just going to ask our town's treasurer to provide more details on this for more clarity for council. Given funds will not be spent on Taylor Avenue this year, frees funds to undertake other roads projects. Administration is currently investigating undertaking 2 road projects this year that were originally scheduled to be undertaken in 2023, that was issued through the request for tender from 2023. Those 2 projects weren't undertaken because of budgetary considerations. These 2 projects would be Churchill Drive from Duncan Avenue to 5th Street and Duncan Avenue North from Prospect Avenue to Goodfish Road. Therefore, administration is recommending $515,500 being drawn from the Canada Community Building Fund deferred revenue and the Ontario Community Infrastructure Fund deferred revenue, and sole source the work to the successful 2023 proponent, which is Miller Paving Limited, and have the mayor and municipal clerk be authorized to execute a contract with Miller Paving. Again, administration is currently in talks with the company to see if this is possible. With respect to the 2023-2024 Connecting Links program, this is the Highway 66 road work and the crosswalk by Burnside Drive. The request for tender received 1 bid from Miller Paving Limited, and they can do the work in 2024. Administration is therefore recommending the mayor and Mayor and Municipal Clerk be authorized to execute a contract with Miller Paving Limited for the town's 2023-2024 capital project in the sum of $1,097,709.75. Through the report that was just presented, the Connecting Lakes one, council has approved the 2024-2025 Connecting Lakes program. As mentioned, the RFP for engineering design work will be issued in the coming days, and the intent is to have the tender package issued at the end of the year and have construction beginning in the second quarter of 2025. All of these changes mentioned in this report will be incorporated into a revised 10-year road reconstruction plan at the end of this year. That will be brought to council's attention. Costs in this plan will be all reviewed, and scheduling of projects on a 2-year cycle will be reconsidered. I'm going to ask our treasurer to come up and just say a few words about cash flow situation and how the impact of the warrant fund would actually affect, and we'll talk about reserves.
Welcome, Mr. Crocker, you may proceed.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, through you to the rest of the council. I'm kind of here just to kind of give you a summary of where we're more or less sitting with our reserves and our deferred revenue, and how a lot of the commentary the CEO just gave, how we're kind of allocating that up and preparing for well, we're essentially running 4 very large projects over the next 2 to 3 years. So we obviously don't want to be in a position where we stretch our resources and end up borrowing money or something like that happening. So the report kind of lays out the timeline. Of course, we're waiting for Hughes to get back to us, and that'll change the timeline, but it doesn't change the overall expenditures. It's just a timing issue for the most part. Right now, the end of 2023, and taking into account some of the 2024 figures, water and wastewater, we have about $2 million in the reserve funds for them. We have a little bit over $5.6 million sitting in the OSIF CCBF, which are the funding envelopes that the 2 levels of government above us provide us annually. We get about 1.7 million combined from them every year. I think, those are the resources we've talked about today, and of course the surplus, which is sitting at about $5.5 million before 2023 final numbers, which, I can't speculate, but so primarily, I guess the discussion here, or the thing I'd like to really point out is, we're not in a position, I've mentioned many times, we're in a good position financially. But I think we kind of learned with Taylor that our world changed around us quite a bit in the last year when it comes to infrastructure costs. And so we've had to kind of rethink the timelines a little bit. And so we're not capable of running those $3 million projects every year, is the short summary of what I'm going to say. And keep in mind, something that's not discussed in this, but it certainly puts some edge on our resources, is we spend quite a bit of money on maintaining the rest of our assets. And so equipment, our water treatment, our wastewater treatment. This year we budgeted $1.7 million just in the water and wastewater upgrades and repairs, that kind of stuff. Last year was over 500,000, seems to be averaging somewhere in between those 2 numbers. A dump truck is $400,000 with a plow on the front of it. Fire truck is $1.2 million. That might have changed from the time I walked up here. But the numbers are just moving around so fast, and we're just finding out. I've been here 2.5 years, and it's almost shocking to see the differences in what we were talking about 2 years ago in our budget, which were based on actual figures that engineers have given us and experience we had seen to what we're looking at today. So for the most part, I'm here to kind of answer your questions if you have any around the financing and how we're trying to get there. So I'd be happy to answer questions at this point.
Councillor Owens?
It's good to hear that the Connecting Link will actually be done this year. That's awesome news. My question is concerning the deferred work from last year, through you, Madam Mayor, of course. If I remember correctly, when the director presented why they had these ones that be taken out of the program at that time and pushed back. Yes, they were over budget, but on Churchill Drive, the pipes were considerably deeper than first expected, so had to be investigated. And the one on Duncan Avenue North, Prospect and Goodfish, the pipes were a lot older than expected. So this had factor in taking these out. I'm all for paving. I want to see these pavers out. I want to see our streets fixed. But what's changed?
Madam Mayor, to the council, I would have to review this. And I'm going to ask maybe Steve, the road supervisor, if he has a input on this question.
Council, we have done some work, preliminary work around catch basins, and have found that the pipes underneath certain sections of these roadways in question are acceptable. It should last for another 10 years or so. So that's why that decision was made that time.
Okay. Quick follow-up on that?
Yeah.
So if it's acceptable in this case, I'm gonna go to the Tweedsmuir, instead of putting an asphalt sidewalk, which tends to blend in, why not just concrete? It goes along the fence. By the time we get to Tweedsmuir, I won't be as cynical as I've been sort of starting, so let's say we'll get there soon enough, but can we do, like, because we were even told that we're supposed to have barriers there between what's the sidewalk and the parking area, and it's market day right now, and it's still a free-for-all. No barriers.
If I may. Due to the situation that the Tweedsmuir, that unique, we know that section of Tweedsmuir has to be re-engineered. I know for a fact that the island portion of that Tweedsmuir, where it's pretty close to the sidewalk, is low. So I decided, along with Stefan, that we would put granular site material along the fence line and cover the existing asphalt sidewalk that's already there with that gravel, and move the sidewalk over towards the fence where it should, which would normally be. And then we're going to pave it ourselves with approximately 1.5 inches of hot mix asphalt. And the reason being for that is that we know within the next 5 to 10 years that sidewalk is probably going to be removed and replaced with concrete. This was the cheapest alternative to do that. We raised the sidewalk up about 8 inches with gravel. We put another 1.5 inches of asphalt that's going to be 9 inches, and some portions, the portions that we've already completed, and we're almost done that, it has made a difference in parking. People are not going up that 8-inch hump. They're parking as they should. That's we thought that was the most economical way to approach that and least expensive moving forward when we have to replace it.
Thank you for that explanation. Anything further from council? Councillor Dykens?
Can you, Madam Mayor, to financial director?
Well,
Mr. Yes. So I was at the market on Tuesday. They were parking on that rise area. It didn't make a difference. They were parked right up. There was, only part of it was done. I thought.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
correct.
but the part that was done, they were just, so maybe education or signs or something might help it, because I knew right away, I saw.
Yeah, and I'm sort of thinking that if we get the asphalt on top there, it's gonna raise it up another 1.5 inches. And if the people see the asphalt there, they won't bother going up. As far as putting, I'm sorry, Councilor Rowan, to finish your question, as far as putting the barriers up, we certainly have that option of putting it up, but my thinking, and along with Stefan's, was that if we put that up 8 inches or so, that would replace those barriers. Because the barriers that we had that were proposed were a concrete, precast concrete, that would have to be removed in the winter due to snow removal. So to eliminate that cost of moving them back and forth, spring and fall, we would approach it this way, and I believe it will work as soon as the asphalt goes into place.
Thank you. Councillor Owen?
Yeah, through you, your worship. I love the sidewalk, but I don't want to talk about sidewalk tonight. I want to get back to Duncan North from Prospect to Good Fish Road. The pipes that were of concern are not the pipes with the catch basin. Pipes that are of concern are the water pipes and the sewer pipes. We already had one major breakup there in which caused quite a bit of damage to a private property. We know that the water pressure is not up to par by the time you get up to Good Fish, which is another indication that the water pipes are not in good shape. It's unfortunate that we don't have someone from the water department here that we could question tonight about the shape of those pipes, but my understanding was from previous council meetings that the water and sewer pipes under that section of road are not in good shape, and that was, you know, we're either gonna pave it and forget about our previous policies, or the information I have, I've misunderstood. But I would like clarification on that before we ever approve doing that paving, because I'm pretty sure I'm right.
Steve, any thoughts on?
And I'd certainly be more than happy to try and find out that information as to the age of the pipes and condition for going through the repairs that were done over the last, say, 5 years.
Thank you. Councillor Dykens?
Through you, Madam Mayor, to the CAO. This is just for information. You mentioned, of course, on April 19th, we applied to the Housing Enabling Water Systems Fund. When do we expect an answer for that? I know just.
We were, if you, Madam Mayor, too, members of council, anytime now. We did think we'd hear back by now, given that, you know, work has to commence on September the 27th, according to our application, require ourselves to fund. And, yeah, we're just waiting, so it's a bit frustrating.
Anything further? Councillor Shabba?
To, Madam Chair, to Steve, Director of everything, so. Back to the sidewalk, you indicated that the barriers would be a problem because you have to move them in winter time, snow plowing, like, we're not talking about the big Jersey barriers.
No.
What happened to the little guy, 6-inch precast ones, that all you have to do just lift your blade and you see them everywhere. If you put that in, that might really encourage people to at least stop and not go over it. And we're not talking about a big one.
No, we're
Yeah,
talking about
yeah,
small.
yeah, small ones, I think.
I may have misled you by that. It wasn't the plowing that would be the issue, it's the snow removal. Because we run the large blower down that section of the street when we remove the snow, and they would get sucked into our LN 220 and do some damage if we didn't remove them.
Can I follow up, please, Madam?
Follow up.
I mean, I appreciate everybody trying to find solutions to that. I know health and safety, all of that stuff. But to me, to have to spend $15,000, something like that, for the asphalt and then turn around 2 years' time, break that out for concrete, I really don't know if the money was spent. I mean, I'd rather keep it the way it is now and maybe keep an eye on it, gravel it and pack it down instead of put asphalt on it, spend 15,000 and then all of a sudden next year or a year after, okay, rip it all off and put concrete. I mean, 15,000 was a lot of money. I don't think it's, to me personally, it won't be a money well spent. I won't spend my money that way. Thank you.
Anything further from members of council? Just for my part, the CAO and I have had multiple discussions about the systematic issues about getting road work completed on time and on budget, and we've definitely taken a huge step forward for the connecting link. I'm very uncomfortable about the Taylor situation. I'm uncomfortable because the people in that section have been literally suffering for far too long. Prior to us being on council, this has been a big issue, we all know it. And so my sincere hope is, though we have to, our plan tonight is to postpone it if we get the views. I'm hoping that there is other ways of thinking outside the box that happen between now and 2025 that allow that project to be done as well. So I'm not losing all hope for those people, because I do believe there are other ways that we can perhaps get that project done. So, Madam Deputy Clerk, you may proceed.
Moved by Councillor Casey Owens, seconded by Councillor Janice Ranger. Be it resolved that report number 2024-PW-006 entitled Supplemental Update on 10-Year Road Reconstruction Plans is received, and that $515,500 be drawn from the Canada Community Building Fund deferred revenue and the Ontario Community Infrastructure Fund deferred revenue to be allocated at the discretion of the treasurer to complete 2024 road work at the following areas. 1, Churchill Drive from Duncan Avenue to 5th Street, and 2, Duncan Avenue North from Prospect Avenue to Goodfish Road. And that council authorized the sole sourcing of the 2024 road work identified above to the successful proponent of 598-23 RFT, Kirkland Lake 2023 paving program. And that the mayor and municipal clerk be authorized to execute a contract with Miller Paving Limited for the completion of 2024 road work noted above. And that $15,000 be drawn from the Canada Community Building Fund deferred revenue and the Ontario Community Infrastructure Fund deferred revenue to complete the temporary repairs of the sidewalk at Civic Park, the allocation of said funds to be at the discretion of the treasurer. And that council award 609-24-RFT for resurfacing and pedestrian crossover construction to Miller Paving Limited as per the proposal received on July 10th, 2024. And that the mayor and municipal clerk be authorized to execute a contract with Miller Paving Limited for resurfacing and pedestrian crossover construction in connection with the town's 2023 to 2024 Connecting Link project in the sum of $1,097,709.75 plus HST. And finally, that an execution bylaw be presented for 3 readings on August 13th, 2024.
Point of order.
Councillor Owen.
I don't know if this is a legitimate point of order, so you can stop me if I'm wrong. I would like this issue deferred until we can get a report on the pipes under Duncan Avenue North from Prospect to Goodfish. I do not feel we have all the information at this point.
Thank you for that. You so move for deferral. Is there a seconder for deferral? There does not appear to be so.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. I will not have the clerk reread the motion. All in favor? Opposed? Item carried. Thank you, sir. Item number 6.6, 2024 Emergency Flooding Event Overview and Next Steps. Earl Gray, Director of Emergency Services, Fire Chief CEMC. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Good afternoon, Madam Mayor, Council. So as you know, the April 12th flooding event that occurred in the town, we did declare an emergency through the mayor on that day. We had the emergency declaration was in place till May 1st. Through the MMAH, Municipal Housing was contacted. They did also do a site visit. There was some thresholds that we had to achieve. Unfortunately, it was about 3% of our fiscal cost, which we did not achieve for the municipality. But it is still unlocked for the residents and small business of the town. So September 12th, there will be an open house meeting with the ministry, myself, the CEO, Mayor will be there, try to answer questions and get a resolution for the residents of the community. So there was quite substantial damage done, as we know. We did have EXP do a preliminary assessment of the damaged areas. And they did come back in your attachment package. You'll see there was a costing from EXP for remediation to prior flood. So that's the one stage. But we're in the document, you'll find the report. We're looking to mitigate further flooding. So a recommendation that we've come forward with is we'd like EXP, because they are a company that's knows the town, they know the infrastructure of the town. We have a quite a good relationship with them. We would request that we sole source to EXP. Want to speed up the process as well. If we do put this there for RFP, we may delay. And just further delays may cost us in the long run. But I'm open to answer any questions that anybody would have.
Questions from councillor? Councillor Shaba?
Yeah, thank you very much to you, Mayor, to Chief. First of all, I'm really not too comfortable with sole sourcing. I don't care under any circumstances. I think that we should all go out and it will be the same people, well be the same, but that's fine. At least the public will know that, hey, right out there and everybody got a chance to bid on it, and this is what it comes to. It comes back to this guy, and that's all there is to it. So I'm not really in favor of sole sourcing for that reason. My other my question is that this is not the first time we had flood issue in that particular part of the town, and I've been here for a long time. This is not the first time. So what happened to all the reports? After each flood, there is always a report. Whatever happened to all those other reports? So why don't we just maybe go back and look at those reports instead of trying to go out now, get another report and pile it on top of the other report and say this was remediation? I'm sure that if you can go back, I know, I've been here longer, sorry, Chief, and I know a lot of the engineering firms that used to be in this town, they have reports when the storm happened over there. So instead of spending the $57,000 right away to get a report, maybe we should step back a little bit to see, are there any other reports there that we may look at that may really meet our needs down that we can implement? Because we pay for those reports. Maybe there won't be. If there won't be, I'm fine for going out to get another report. But I just think that when we have so many storms of flooding over there, and there's always a report after, there's always a remediation strategy and all of that stuff, and then another storm. So I just think we should just check the drawer, check whatever it is. We'll give all those reports and see if there's something there that will meet the needs of today's design. Thank you very much.
Right, that is unnecessary behavior and unwelcome at a council meeting. I will call the room to order. Councillor Owen.
Yes, through you, your worship. I'm in agreement with Councillor Shab on the sole sourcing. That's not a transparent way of doing business. It also sends out the message that once you do business with Kirkland Lake, nobody else need apply, because you're gonna go back to the same suppliers over and over and over again. We have a hard enough time getting people to bid on our contracts as it is, usually because we're small in terms of the world of business. And I'm just, to me, it doesn't send the right message. The other thing is, all the information we have from EXP is sitting in our hands. Any engineering firm can come in and have access to that information and have a handle on what we have, what is wrong, what needs to be done. So having worked hands-on isn't a big factor, because we should have all those documents that we paid for, and any engineering firm to come in and do it. My concern is that we should be looking at a long-term solution. When I was a reporter, I reported on at least twice when that area on, I can't remember the street names, but the area where the creek was under the road, flooded. Twice with major floods. This last major flood is the second flood that's been in that area since I've been on council. And apparently it's flooded once since then. I don't think this is a problem that we can continue to turn a blind eye to. I know we don't have the money to fix the problem. But we need to lobby and lobby hard to get that money. It's not right that we have that situation and it keeps repeating. Yeah. Thank you.
Councilor Owens.
Through you, Madam Mayor, so the first thing I want to address, that this thing about sole source, and at this point, I don't care. I was one of the ones that flooded, like, if you look at the map, you know, I kind of zoomed in, my house is on there. I was lucky enough that I caught it in time, and me and my partner fought like hell. And I mean, we fought to keep the water out. And Danny helped me out. Lent me a pump. Bros helped me out, bought a pump. And we fought till 1 o'clock in the morning, pumping water out, and we kept it to one area of the house, and I fought. So to say that, oh, sole source, and I don't care. Tell that to the guy that's watched, or the person watching water come up in their basement and there's nothing you can do about it. Don't care about sole source. I'm not quite done, okay? That's the first point. So we were lucky. I was able to rectify, I had clean water coming through my house. So I was able, I'm working on it now, I was able to go out, fix the problem. I know what it is, I know where the water's coming from. Diverting water, I can do what I want. So, but the rest of the people that are near Murdoch Creek can't do that. And it's no longer once in 100 years, once in 50 years, it's happening 2, 3, 4 times a summer. Allen Street floods regularly. Dixon and Paula. Thanks, Gail.
I will remind members of council not to engage with members of the public. I will kindly remind members of the public, if there is any further outbursts or engagement, you will be asked to leave this chambers. Proceed, Councillor
I apologize,
Owens.
Madam Mayor, but it's a frustrating issue. And I understand their anger to watch it. So my point in this, yeah, okay, we need the engineer hey, do we need to divert the creek? Is there something else we can do? But anybody that walks along that creek, notice it's full of mud. It's full of overgrown bush. You walk to Queen Street, the intake that goes under under Premier is clogged. You can see this much going through. So of course, if there's a huge deluge, it's not gonna go through. It's a bubble that goes over top. Isn't there something we can do in the meantime to show people, like, we're cleaning up this supposed major artery that drains half the town, and do something about it now? Or I don't understand it.
Councillor Ranger.
Thank you for your report. I think you made a very good rationale for making this an exception to the rule. And that we can just expedite using the current contractor to do the report. And so I'm in support of not needing to go out for tender and get this done sooner rather than later. On top of what Councillor Owen said, you know, with the environmental changes, we had a thunderstorm in February. So we know that this is quickly gathering strength as far as weather conditions being much more extreme and much more rapid. And I don't think that it's going to improve on its own, so we need to expedite things in this case.
Thank you for that. Anything further from members of council? Madam Clerk, I'll have you read the motion, please.
Moved by Councillor Raj Shaba, seconded by Councillor Casey Owens. Be it resolved that report number 2024-FES-003 entitled 2024 Emergency Flooding Event Overview and Next Steps be received. That council approve the sole sourcing of EXP Services, Inc. to conduct an engineering review of the 2024 flood and concept remedial options in the sum of $57,485, excluding HST, to be drawn from the working capital reserve. And that the expenditures incurred resulting from the April 12, 2024 emergency flooding event be drawn from the working capital reserve. And finally, that the tipping fees be reinstated without waiver effective immediately.
Thank you. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passed. Item number 6.7, land use authorization request and exemption to noise bylaw. Agnico, Dan Labrador, Director of Development and Enterprise Services.
Interested in it? Yeah.
You may proceed.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, through you to the rest of council. Before you this evening is a request received from the Development Enterprise Service Department from Agnico Eagle Mines Limited. The request outlines a land use authorization request to be exempt from bylaw 07-065, the Town of Kirkland Lake Noise Bylaw. Agnico Eagle Mines is intending to conduct a diamond drilling program to explore long-range potential for gold mineralization in portions of Kirkland Lake Camp below the historic mining activities, particularly Wright Hargraves and Sylvanite mines. In the attached map, you can see the proposed property is adjacent to the Kirkland Lake sewage treatment plant along Archer Drive. Not only has this site been identified by Agnico Eagle as an ideal location, the zoning for the site is also zoned industrial, hence being a better suited location for this type of operation, imposing less interruption to residents, as a request to exempt the noise is for a 24/7 operation. The main impacts outlined in my report are an increased noise levels, higher traffic volume along Archer Drive, the development of a structure over the drilling location to mitigate noise. Agnico Eagle will be monitoring the noise through a third-party consultant to make sure the project and noise levels are acceptable. The monitoring will commence from the very first day of the project. Should council agree to grant the noise exemption and the land authorization, Agnico Eagle would then be responsible for public consultation, marketing, and public awareness. And in turn, the town will share the content through our municipal website and social networks. In addition to this, any complaints and concerns will be fielded through the Development Enterprise Services Department and then work with Agnico Eagle Mines to remedy any of the situations. As this project warrants a land use authorization, an easement agreement will be drafted. This will outline the duties of Agnico Eagle Mine for the items such as remedying and remediating the space once the project is completed. Allowing such an easement for Agnico Eagle Mines for a project of this magnitude not only aligns with our strategic plan, it allows Agnico Eagle Limited to explore future longevity investing in our community. This concludes my report. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Councillor Ranger.
Thank you. Through you, Madam Mayor, to our Economic Development Officer. I just would like it noted that I would like to, as council, hear updates as far as the noise monitoring and traffic. As diligently as we encourage people to just use Archer, we know that they're using Main Street and that there's concern for traffic speed. There's a primary school and a daycare in those areas. So I would like council to be updated when that project starts going as to what the community, that part of our community is seeing, hearing, and have concerns about. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Owen.
Through you, your worship, the council. Probably, I'm guessing about 20 years ago, a company named Bulk Minerals conducted drilling in town. They conducted drilling on the French Rock which is behind Assumption Church. And they conducted drilling at the, right beside the soccer field, Queen Elizabeth Soccer Field. At the time, the person in charge of the project was named Dan McCormick, who happened to be a personal friend of mine. He was well known as a geologist, but he also was a qualified industrial environmentalist as well. I was working at the paper, so I reported on it. They used the tent system over top of their drills. And I did not receive one complaint at the newspaper about noise. Dan did not make me aware of any complaints the company had received, and I'm sure he would have. It's a tried and true method of muffling the sound. And I have no objections to this type of drilling to take place. It's also in a relatively isolated situation. It's not right next to houses like Vault Minerals was. They were right across the road from houses at the soccer field, and up on the French Rock, they were very close to apartment buildings. And just to clarify something, on an issue similar to this, I had checked with the Integrity Commissioner, and because this issue affects the entire community, as in the noise bylaw, and also because this, sorry about that, this does not in any way, shape, or form affect my son's job positively or negatively. I do not have a conflict of interest. I did not phone the Integrity Commissioner this time because I don't want us to be charged for something that I don't believe I have. So hopefully that clarifies any questions other councilors may have. Thank you.
So we're just gonna take a brief 5-minute recess for some clarification on procedure. Rise from recess. The matter of procedure has been clarified. In our previous vote, a member of council had moved the motion, then voted against said motion. There was a brief concern that we should not proceed with that result due to the issue. However, any member of council can move the motion because that simply brings it to the table for discussion, and you are certainly open to vote whichever way you decide at the end of the conversation. So that was the point of clarification that needed to occur. So we are now going to continue as per the next issue. And Councillor Owen, you were finishing your comments regarding previous noise bylaw.
Yeah,
Situation.
if I could just, as a supplementary, just say that I'm not, I recognize Council Ranger's concern about the traffic on Queen Street. I'm not concerned about, and that is a real concern because we know historically. Main Street, sorry, Main, yeah. On Archer Drive, that's an industrial area. So increased traffic there is neither here nor there as far as I'm concerned. It's zoned for that, so. But I do agree with Councilor Ranger on the Main Street.
Dan, you may proceed.
Supplementary to the report given as well, a part of the construction of the building over top of this drill. This drill is going to be one of the largest exploration drilling sites in Canada, if not North America. It is going to be going to depths, exploring depths that have never been done before in North America. The building for this is a steel frame building, which will fall under the building division of the Development and Enterprise Services Department. Hence, it will be inspected and professionally built and then taken down after the project. So it will fall under our building division that will be inspected. So I'm confident that it will be built to a spec to mitigate the sound, and it's professionally done. Thank you.
Anything further from members of council? Councillor Dykens?
You, Madam Mayor, to the director. So there's a couple phases. One is the building of the platform and so on, and then the drilling and then the taking down. How long do they expect the building of this, but like, I'm very ignorant when it comes to, so that might be a concern in terms of noise, if they're gonna do it all night.
Yeah, through you, Madam Mayor, to Councillor Dykens. The drilling portion of the project will be 24/7. That is outlined in the first part of my report, is that the actual erection of the building and all the cement pad is going to be the first section, which is just regular construction at this point. But the item that should be known is that the sound monitoring will start from day one. They plan, should council approve this, is that the sound monitor is installed immediately so that a baseline sound can be given.
So, any follow-up?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. So for clarity, when they're building this unit, it's only during the day?
Yeah, through you, Madam Mayor, the information received to my department has been that it'll follow regular construction hours.
Excellent. Anything further from members of council? Just for my part, as Mr. Labrador noted, this endeavor is an incredible endeavor to occur in the town of Kirkland Lake. And I do believe this is something that needs to be supported for the betterment of our community. It will bring great media coverage because of the colossal nature of the undertaking. And we definitely want to be as good of community partners with businesses that want to move our community forward as much as they are good community partners with us. Deputy Clerk, I'll have the reading of the motion.
Certainly. Moved by Councillor Janice Ranger, seconded by Councillor Rick Owen. Be resolved that report number 2024-DEB-022 entitled Request for Land Use Authorization and Exemption to Noise Bylaw, Agnico Eagle Mine Limited, be received, and that council authorize the mayor and municipal clerk to execute an easement agreement with Agnico Eagle Mine Limited over a portion of mining claims L6682, RL504, PCL 11319, CST, municipally known as 600 Archer Drive, in order to support their full drilling exploration project in the form satisfactory to the chief administrative officer and the town's legal counsel. And that Agnico Eagle Mine Limited be granted a 16-month exemption to noise bylaw 07-065 pursuant to terms and conditions as outlined and presented. And finally, that an execution bylaw be brought forward for 3 readings on August 13th, 2023.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous.
I just
Councillor Shaba?
yeah, to you, Madam Chair, I just want to have a question regarding the form satisfactory to the chief administrative officer. So will that form be conveyed back to the council later on? Because I don't know what that form will be. The wording said if in the form satisfactory to the chief administrative officer. I'm not too clear on that, but I can get my answer another time.
So just as a matter of procedure,
Yes, please.
motions are presented to the whole of council and all of the members of public
My
on
apologies.
the Friday prior.
Yes,
So this question should have occurred prior to the
yeah,
vote.
okay, well,
I do respect that that question should be answered, and that will be answered via email through the CAO.
I thank you very much. That's what I will expect. I don't expect the CEO to answer the question.
Yeah.
I just wanted to pose the question.
Okay, moving on, item 6.8, town sponsorship request, GCS grant application to the Frogs Breath Foundation, Sean LeCart, Director of Corporate Services.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, Council. So today we have a report, basically Golden Quarter Snowdrifters have applied for a grant, Frogs Breath Foundation, and have requested the town sponsor the application. The town would then accept the funds on their behalf and provide a donation to the organization for the same amount, similar to a few that we've had here lately. The application that was submitted was for $15,541.02 to refurbish the Estrangement Creek Bridge. The town of Kirkland Lake has frequently partnered with local groups such as Frogs Breath and Testing Foundation applications, and currently this is the only way for many of the groups to have access to the funds. The council may choose to deny the request. This is not a recommendation, as the town has historically assumed the sponsorship role and supported recreation and tourism in the community. There are no financial implications to the grant received. It's immediately offset by donation of the equivalent amount to the Golden Quarter Snowdrifters. We did mention in conclusion that it adheres to the charitable sponsorship policy. Having said that, this particular application went in before the application came in and it's been approved. But it does adhere to following what the council is looking to support recreation and tourism and economic development. The administrator recommends the approval of the application and accept any questions if anybody has any.
Any questions from Councillor Owens?
Madam Mayor, it might be a stupid question, but since Estrangement Creek is outside the boundaries of the town of Kirkland Lake, may that pose an issue?
To Councillor Owen from.
This is like in his report, like it's specified, it's in larger lake area, so is that gonna
Shouldn't.
throw a wrench in the spokes on one point?
Yeah, obviously in the policy, we did mention that it would normally go through someone, the closest municipality kind of thing, because there is gonna be places where they're not in a municipality, they're in an organized township. I was unaware exactly where it was, and like I said, we weren't included in this in the start, so I think it's fine, but it would be something to look at in a future kind of thing. I know that a couple of years ago we did support one for the Golden Corridor, so it would be something to make sure we look at for future applications.
Anything further from members of council? Nothing noted. Deputy Clerk.
Moved by Councillor Casey Owens, seconded by Councillor Rad Chava, be it resolved that report number 2024-CORP-034 entitled Town Sponsorship Request GCS Grant Application to the Frogs Breath Foundation be received, and that council approve the request from the Golden Quarter Snowdrifters GCS for the corporation of the town of Kirkland Lake to sponsor an application to the Frogs Breath Foundation FBF for a grant in the sum of $15,541.02 to support their Estrangement Creek Bridge refurbishing project, and that council authorize the mayor and municipal clerk to sign a sponsorship agreement with the GCS as presented, and that council authorize the treasurer to receive any funds granted by FBF and to forward a donation of the same value to the GCS. And finally, that subsection 2.21 of the town's notice bylaw be lifted to allow for an execution bylaw to be brought forward for 3 readings on July 16th, 2024.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Thank you, sir. Item number 7, considerations of notice of motions. There are none this evening. Item number 8, introduction, reading, and consideration of bylaws. 8.1, bylaw number 24-053.
Moved by Councillor Casey Owens, seconded by Councillor Rick Owens, be it resolved that the following bylaw be read, numbered, passed, signed by the mayor and municipal clerk, and the seal of the corporation be affixed thereto. Bylaw number 24-053, being a bylaw to deem lots 251 and 252 of registered plan M-98T not to be registered, 85 and 87 Government Road West.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. 8.2, bylaw number 24-054.
Moved by Councillor Rad Chava, seconded by Councillor Janice Ranger, be it resolved that the following bylaw be read, numbered, passed, signed by the mayor and the municipal clerk, and the seal of the corporation be affixed thereto. Bylaw number 24-054, being a bylaw to authorize the execution of a sponsorship agreement with the Golden Corridor Snowdrifters in order to accept grant funding from the Frogs Breath Foundation.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item 8.3, bylaw number 24-055.
Moved by Councillor Rick Owens, seconded by Councillor Casey Owens. Be resolved that the following bylaw be read, numbered, passed, signed by the mayor and the municipal clerk, and the seal of the corporation be affixed thereto. Bylaw number 24-055, being a bylaw to authorize the execution of documents related to the sale of 300 Archer Drive.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Sorry. Item 8.4, bylaw number 24-056.
Moved by Councillor Janice Ranger, seconded by Councillor Casey Owens. Be it resolved that the following bylaw be read, numbered, passed, signed by the mayor and the municipal clerk, and the seal of the corporation be affixed thereto. Bylaw number 24-056, being a bylaw to authorize the execution of a sponsorship agreement with the Cripple Lake Curling Club in order to accept grant funding from the Frogs Breath Foundation.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item 8.5, bylaw number 24-057. Councillor
Madam
Owens.
Mayor, can I have a point of? So in conversation with the CEO, the next two bylaws were presented to us in the last report. I missed the bylaws. I'll be honest, I completely missed the bylaws. As I was reading them for the council today, I'm having issues with them. Especially this 24057, I think it's bordering on discriminatory for certain ethnic groups within our community to limit to 2 days a year where you can legally purchase or sell fireworks in our community and have them. Is there any way, I can't support them, these two, so is there a way, I don't know, to revisit the issue, have modify, I don't know what the procedure is here, but I can't, these two are red flags to me right now.
I will have the CEO speak to this.
Yeah, through Madam Mayor, members of council. Yes, on June 18th, a council report was presented for both of these bylaws. Attached was these draft form. The bylaws were attached as attachments to the council reports. Council has approved the changes to the bylaws, so that has been approved by council. My understanding is, and the deputy clerk can help me clarify here, but this would, if council does not provide the 3 readings this evening, then we have to wait 6 months to revisit this. Also, it does speak to the enforcement issue, and I know we're not I can't really speak to the open air burning one right now, but well, I guess I can mention it, that we do have user fees that have been already passed. We have standard operating procedures that are in the works. So there's a lot of behind the scenes that have gone on here based on council approval. But again, it's the 6-month timeframe that we would have to go about. But maybe the clerk can add to that. Is that okay? Okay, yeah. Okay. Again, council has approved the changes.
So I'm just going to, just one moment, I do have the procedures of council in front of me. Because at the time this was brought forward, the concerns were brought forward. We did not realize that we had missed a community within our community that should be recognized as well. That was a misstep on our white privilege, perhaps we can say that we did not consider new members of our community under that bylaw. So as a point to that, I am taking a moment to review the reconsideration portion. Perhaps we can also reach out to the clerk regarding this matter. So we're gonna take another recess for about 5 minutes until we can rectify this. So we are now rising from our third recess for the evening, regarding the matter of procedure regarding, item number 8.5. Bylaw number 24-057. Counselor Owens, you were bringing a point, regarding this matter.
Point of, what was it?
Privilege.
Privilege, can we defer this, this bylaw?
Okay, so you are a mover. Okay, you are moving to defer this
To
matter.
defer, we need to have a further discussion about the implications of, there's several level implications, but just the first one that jumped on is the discriminating nature of implications of this. It leaves out a lot of groups and it limits it to certain holidays that are just for one group.
So noted, and the seconder. Okay, Counselor Ranger,
Okay,
so we motion to defer.
okay, so, moved by Councillor Casey Owens, seconded by Councillor Janice Ranger. Be it resolved that, council defer the matter to the August 13th, 2024 meeting.
All in favor? Opposed? Item carried unanimous. Thank you. Moving on, item number 8.6, bylaw number 24-058. Deputy
Point.
Clerk?
Point of
Okay.
privilege and Madam Mayor.
Yeah.
So since, again, they were all bunched in, most of us missed these bylaws. There's some very, very harsh and punitive language I find. Like I was reading this today and I won't say what came to mind, but it's harsh and there's some explanations I feel we need to have, or I feel I need to have as to what it means. And I apologize to staff, but I missed the report the first time. So I would ask for deferral on this one as well, so we can have more clarifications on certain points of the bylaw.
Okay, so as just a point of instruction or procedure on this. Because this has nothing to do with charter rights, etc., this may not come back for another 6 months. In that case, there is severe consequences in that regard because our SOPs are based on the language in here, also our user fees as well. So just to make council aware of those issues before we proceed with deferral. So the motion on the floor is to defer. Do you have a seconder to defer? It appears that there is no seconder to defer. So that motion is not passed. Yeah, sorry, Councillor Shabba.
Yeah, through you, Madam Chair, I'm surprised that we have all these bylaws and can we not speak to them again? Like the chief is here and whatever concerns that you have, he can easily answer those questions for you. My understanding is people, you get your burning permit, once you get that, and that's it, they come and do their own thing. So whatever it is, even though I know is dead in the water deferral, but nonetheless, some of these things, the staff, if they're here, they maybe put a clarification onto them so that we can move things along. But I mean, I don't know, and I know it's by going down, the deferral is done, but that's just my concern that we should be entertaining maybe open debate so that staff can answer us.
Yeah, so the reason why we do not entertain further questions is because the motion itself was passed at a previous council meeting. So this has received its first and second reading and approval. So the third reading is the bylaw. And so the decision has already been made on this, and we were presented with those facts at a previous meeting. So that is why we do not entertain changes or, yeah, so that is why.
Fine.
Anything to add, Deputy Clerk?
Basically, we can take the vote and if it doesn't, if that's to be passed, but then again, that would be not.
Okay, so yes, so the other alternative is, of course, the power is in the voting. So,
Meeting staff can make clarifications if there's anything we wish to clarify.
okay,
That right now.
okay, so do you have specific questions that you wish to bring forward, Councillor Owens?
That's the point is, I'm not gonna waste council's time, I just know I'm gonna vote and that's the end of that. It's a council decision, I'm not wasting council's time.
Okay, thank you for that. I will have the reading of the bylaw.
Moved by Councillor Rick Owen, seconded by Councillor Janice Ranger. Be it resolved that the following bylaw be read, numbered, passed, signed by the mayor and the municipal clerk, and the seal of the corporation be affixed thereto. Bylaw number 24-058, being a bylaw to regulate open air burning within the jurisdiction of the town of Kirkland Lake.
All in favor? Opposed? Matter is not carried, matter is lost. Item
So,
number,
point of clarification, now what?
now it
that
will
was
not
last-
come back. It will not come back. It
Well-
can come back at the discretion of the clerk if there is reasons for it as per the procedures of council. Otherwise, it will not come back for 6 months. And a report, I imagine, will be brought back regarding the effects of not passing.
Does that mean that we revert to the status quo, whatever that is now, whatever we have now ongoing? Okay,
But the bylaw, we just passed it.
No, it was lost. It was.
No, the other one, okay, so,
The
Yeah.
first one is deferred, this
That's
one
right.
was lost.
Yeah. so it's gonna be 6 months.
It can be up to 6
Yeah,
months unless the clerk deems it to be brought back
Yeah.
because of new information.
Mhm.
Item number 8.7, bylaw number 24-059.
Moved by Councillor Casey Owen, seconded by Councillor Raj Shaba. Be it resolved that the following bylaw be read, numbered, passed, signed by the mayor and the municipal clerk, and the seal of the corporation be affixed thereto. Bylaw number 24-059, being a bylaw authorizing the execution of a lease agreement with Kirkland Lake Soccer Association for use of municipally owned soccer fields various.
All in favor? Opposed? Item carried unanimous. Item number 8.8. Bylaw number 24-060.
Moved by Councillor Janice Ranger, seconded by Councillor Rick Owen. Be resolved that the following bylaw be read, numbered, passed, signed by the mayor and the municipal clerk, and the seal of the corporation be affixed thereto. Bylaw number 24-060, being a bylaw to authorize the execution of a site plan control agreement for 60 Good Fish Road, Row.
All in favor? Opposed? Item carried unanimous. Item number 8.9, bylaw number 24-061.
Moved by Councillor Rick Owen, seconded by Councillor Lad Shaba. Be it resolved that the following bylaw be read, numbered, passed, signed by the mayor and the municipal clerk, and the seal of the corporation be affixed thereto. Bylaw number 24-061, being a bylaw to authorize the execution of a site plan control agreement for 31 Churchill Drive, Conseil Scolaire du District de Ville-Rivière.
All in favor? Opposed, none noted, item carried unanimous. Item number 8.10, bylaw number 24-062.
Moved by Councillor Casey Owens, seconded by Councillor Janice Stranger, be it resolved that the following.
Sorry, the door is stuck.
Oh, I might have. Thank you, Joe.
Don't keep
That's,
pressing.
yeah, that's the wrong one.
Okay, he's
He's down
out
the
of
hall.
sight, so he
Okay,
can't
yeah.
influence us.
Thank you. You may proceed, Deputy Clerk.
Moved by Councillor Casey Owens, seconded by Councillor Janice Ranger, be it resolved that the following bylaw be read, numbered, passed, signed by the mayor and the municipal clerk, and the seal of the corporation be affixed thereto. Bylaw number 24-062, being a bylaw to authorize the execution of a site plan control agreement for 300 Archer Drive, Timiskaming Native Women's Support Group.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item number 9, questions from council to staff. There were none submitted prior to the meeting. Item number 10, notices of motion. No items from the floor. Item number 11, councilors' reports. Councillor Owen.
Through you, your worship, the council. I recently attended the official opening of the Loose Hearts Park in memory of Reese Filion. Reese was a young lady who had made a decision to spend her life in early childhood education. Unfortunately and unexpectedly, she got very ill and passed away very suddenly. Some of her colleagues decided it would be a good idea to take what had been an eyesore at the corner of Station Road and Second Street and turn it into Loose Parks Park. And when that idea was brought to council, none of us, I think, knew what a Loose Parks Park was. It was a new concept, but we got behind it, as did many members of the public, and as did many corporate and small businesses in the community supported the project. There was an amazing turnout. I view it as a very positive thing for our community that's in my neighborhood, so I go by there on a regular basis, and it is being well used. 2 of my grandchildren were there for the opening, or a little bit past the opening, and they thoroughly enjoyed it. They each went their own way and did their own thing, and you could see, if you looked around, I mean, they had everything from mud pies to just pieces of stuff that you make things out of, you know. So I just want to thank the people that got behind that. I know that Reese's father was a major worker on the project. And, you know, sad things happen to good people, and we can't understand it. But in this case, this was a very fitting tribute to Reese and a really positive, good addition to our community. So I was very pleased to be there. Thank you.
Anything further? Councillor Shava?
Yeah, thank you, your worship. First of all, I want to try to, I will congratulate the 4 young women from Kirkland Lake that have got into Northern Ontario School of Medicine. You know who you are, and I wish them the best of educational success. Hopefully they will come back to Kirkland Lake to practice. And if you don't know by now, well, the park in Shopee has taken shape, and I won't be avoiding going to the post office in Shopee anymore. So it looks very beautiful. Much appreciated, all the efforts of the staff and all of us around this table here. So Thank you very much. Apparently, it's missing a swing, I was told, so I did discuss that with the COO. Maybe someday, some loose change somewhere will, you and the director will find some loose change somewhere and then we'll get a set of swing. So that's it. Bye-bye.
Anything further from members of council? I just want to take the opportunity for a teachable moment regarding the events that occurred earlier this evening between members of the public in these chambers. All members of council are always welcome to any comments, positive or negative. However, just like at your job, there's proper ways to do things. There are also proper ways to engage with council members. And the difference is our proper ways are procedures of council, and it's a public document to understand how you are to engage during a council meeting. Unfortunately, there is no room at this table for outbursts. If you wish to speak with any of the council members, there is plenty of opportunity prior to the beginning of council, during recesses, and you've seen today that there was several opportunities this evening, and there will be one more offered between open and closed session, as well as all of our emails are publicly available. And we are always open to members of the public to discuss things with us, but we can absolutely not have interruptions during our place of business. So I hope that members of the public can understand that we would respect their jobs, and I hope that members of the public respect ours as well. The Children's Department refresh is going on swimmingly. The shelves have been installed with the help of board members Melissa, Chantel, and Sebastian, and a community volunteer, Adam. The flooring in the multi-purpose room and the new sink have been installed, and we are inching closer to the grand reveal. The Temiskaming Development Fund Corporation's 33rd annual meeting was held. The TEM Fund is a legacy fund which provides Temiskaming region businesses and organizations from all sectors with a suite of lending programs. For those who aren't familiar, it was established in 1990 by an agreement with DeFasco Inc., Northern Ontario Heritage Fund Corporation, and the Temiskaming Development Fund Corporation. It was designed as an incentive loan program established in response to the $4 million donation from DeFasco and Cliffs of Canada towards financial incentives for business diversification and growth in the Temiskaming area to mitigate job losses as the result of the closure of the Sherman and Adams mine. As mayor of Kirkland Lake, I do hold the position of ex officio director, as do the mayors of Latchford, Cobalt, Temagami, New Liskeard, and Englehart. Currently, the regular board members meet monthly with former mayor Tony Antoniazzi serving as secretary treasurer. Their executive directors report to have monthly phone calls with our director of development and enterprise services, as well as the executive director of KDCDC, Krista Wilson, showing strong ties to the community. And for more information, please visit their website at www.temfund.ca. The unveiling of the hockey monument and its new location at the complex. Bill Glover was instrumental in the relocation of this monument, and I had a pleasure of saying a few words at that event. The Loose Parks Playground, I was able to help the small group of volunteers do the initial setup with a donated item during the rainstorm, but not even a downpour could dampen the spirit of this heartwarming initiative. Congratulations to everyone involved. I know that the space will be well utilized for years to come. A new committee has formed, the Beautification Committee. They have recognized Pagoda and the Royal Bank, recognizing those in the community, whether it's the private homeowners or business owners who clearly show pride in their properties. These people aren't performing these acts of kindness for recognition. They simply love our community. I want to finally extend my sincere gratitude to all the staff and contractors that have been working since yesterday afternoon with our water issues. I can honestly say they had been at it already for 12 hours before I was coming into work this morning. We're aware of the public frustration regarding the age of our failing infrastructure. I felt it myself as I turned on my taps at home in Chappie yesterday afternoon to absolutely no water. So we all understand, we live in this community and we understand, and we are suffering along with you when catastrophic things happen. But to see the devotion time and time again of our staff being out there for hours and hours on end to try to deal with the frustrating age of our systems, we have to give credit when credit is due. We as council are trying to provide our staff with the funding that is needed to fix it. And there's simply not enough funding to fix the amount of problems that we have. It's not unique to Kirkland Lake, but when you're turning on your tap and your water is yellow or you're brown or non-existent, it is exceedingly frustrating, and you don't care about the other 443 municipalities across Ontario that are suffering as well. You just want your water on. So I have to commend our staff that are working diligently and will probably be working for another few hours long after we're at home. So I do want to let those frontline staff know how much they are appreciated, if not by all of the community, at least by those of us in this room. So thank you to them. That is all.
Moved by Councillor Rick Owen, seconded by Councillor Janice Ranger, be it resolved that the verbal updates from members of council be received.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Item number 12, additional information. There was none this evening, and we will now have a 5-minute recess considering before moving into closed. Thank you. Okay, we are now rising from our recess. Councillor Ranger.
Madam Mayor, through you, I'd like to have a notice of reconsideration for 8.6 bylaw number 24-058.
So noted. So a notice of reconsideration will be heard at the next regular council meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and so we will now, oh, yeah, Councillor Shabbat.
Yeah, point of order. Don't we need, when do we vote for that? Do we need a 2/3 of the six
So
members?
a notice of reconsideration is this treated the same as a notice of motion. So as we give notice of motion that this will be discussed at the next regular council meeting and there is no vote, just like when you say, I'm giving a notice of motion and there is no discussion, no vote. And then the next council meeting, that's when the discussion happens on it. That is the same.
Okay.
Councillor Dykens?
Just for clarity, which one was that?
8.6.
8.6?
Number 8.6 bylaw number 24-058. Open burning bylaw.
Thank you.
Okay,
So Madam Chair, can I have a follow up to that?
absolutely.
Just a more clarification.
Mhm.
So notice of reconsideration, I understand that. So you're saying at the next meeting, that will be open for discussion, after which there will be another vote, right?
Yes. So that matter will be reconsidered at the next council meeting.
I
Clarification.
don't think, well, anyways, never mind.
Yep.
So
Councillor.
through you,
Yeah.
Madam Mayor, and I'm all for it, trust me, I'm all for it, and I'm okay with it. Why couldn't this simple notice of reconsideration be afforded to us while we were having a discussion?
So it could have been, absolutely. It was brought to the chair's attention during the recess. So because of that, I am familiar with the 6 months rule, but at any time after a decision has been made, a notice of reconsideration can be brought forward. So do you want the?
No, I'm just
And I
highly
think
curious.
for education,
Through you,
I-
Madam Mayor, I'm just highly
absolutely.
curious that now, all of a sudden, whoop,
Yes,
things
Yes.
could change and then.
So,
Yeah,
absolutely.
earlier we were so entranced that we could not modify, this is the
Mhm.
procedure, and there was information
Yes.
being forwarded to us that, no, this is the procedure, and all of a sudden, bang, we can
Yes,
accommodate.
no, absolutely. So, Councillor Ranger, do you,
No, through
can
you.
you, just 1 second?
Yeah.
So it is under section
Okay, well, look,
59. Okay.
That's the procedure bylaw?
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, sorry, because it's a bylaw. Sorry, thank you for that.
But, yeah,
So, yeah, so it's under, it wasn't under reconsideration, that was my error, because when the items were being discussed, I was looking under reconsideration, not the section under bylaws. So that's my shortcoming, because in my mind, it was a reconsideration. So, under the bylaw section, section 80, a bylaw which has been defeated at any stage of order of procedure shall be subject to a motion to reconsider. The foregoing rules shall apply except when a motion to reconsider a bylaw is carried by a 2/3 vote. The next order of business shall be a motion that leave be given to introduce the bylaw. If such a motion is carried, the bylaw shall be dealt with in accordance with the usual order of procedure. So because we require further discussion on the matter, that is why it's coming back at the next council meeting to give staff time to prepare for our questions. Does that make sense?
It does, it just blows my mind that off.
Yes, yes.
It just blows my mind. I'll
Yes,
leave it at that.
and yes, and absolutely, like that is, you are as familiar with, the bylaw 15-075. I do try to carry it with me at all times, and sometimes I am not as quick as I would like to be,
I
because
don't
in
carry
my
it.
mind, yeah,
Okay.
you're familiar with it, just like, but I
Yeah.
carry it with me, right?
Yes, yes.
And
I
so
know.
I was looking at the wrong section, and it was brought to my attention that I was looking at the wrong section, so that was my fault. Yeah, so, good things. Counselor Shabbat.
no.
Oh,
is
Counselor
that-
Owen,
is that-
you have not been able to speak about this matter yet.
I'm not sure I want to, but through you, to council,
Mhm,
I think you answered my question,
okay.
but I want to be totally clear on what this is meaning.
Mhm.
This means that bylaw is coming back, and as a council, we are going to discuss it. And should we wish, we will be able to make changes to it before we vote on a final bylaw to be passed into bylaw law.
So a fulsome report will be presented, or a review of the report that was presented previously to council will be represented, so that we ensure that all members of council are aware of what is in this bylaw. There has been some questions about it. You, myself and Councillor Owens all voted against this bylaw, so clearly there has been some reconsideration on council's behalf between the last time this was discussed and this time. A member of council that voted for the bylaw brought a notice of reconsideration, so that is what we will be doing at next council.
And if
Follow
I
up?
may, as a follow-up, your worship, I apologize to council because I too missed the details on this bylaw. I don't know why or how I missed it. But my apologies to staff as well, because, you know, I try to come prepared for council meetings. Obviously, I missed this, so I apologize.
Absolutely. Councillor Shabbat.
Yeah, through you, Madam Mayor, and during our open session, I think we're going to close session, I think we're back in open session. I asked pointedly that before the motion, that why can't there be a discussion open up? Why can't we have a discussion whereby he can express his issues while the chief was sitting over there, and maybe the chief can maybe answer some of his questions? You indicated that, no, that can happen because we already discussed this. This is now a bylaw.
Yes,
That's exactly what you said. So
yes,
now we're
I am
gonna turn
familiar
around.
with what I said.
Yeah,
So as
will be
per
limited.
my answer to Councillor Owens, at the time of discussion, I was looking under the heading reconsiderations, not bylaws. So it is my, and I do apologize to the whole of council that I did not catch that the issue that we were facing was under a different section of the procedure bylaws. So I was going under the procedures under reconsideration and not bylaws. So I misspoke at that time, and I do apologize to the whole of council that I was looking at under the wrong section. But now that the clerk has pointed out to me the proper section, as is her role as clerk, this is how it is being rectified, that we are going under the proper section of the procedure bylaw, which is under bylaws and not under reconsideration, which is the section that I was referring to in the bylaw. So after all that, we will be revisiting that bylaw at our next regular council meeting. Second point is this is coming back into open session is how it is always done after our recess. So this, yeah, so we have the recess, we come back to open, then we move into close. That's how it's been done for the last, well, as long as I've been on council, so. Okay, so after all that being said, we will now move into closed. Madam Deputy Clerk.
Right, so moved by Councillor Casey Owens, seconded by Councillor Lad Shaba, be it resolved that council adjourn in camera pursuant to section 239(2) of Municipal Act 2001 as amended, to discuss personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, labor relations or employee negotiation, litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality or local boards, advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose, information explicitly supplied in confidence to the municipality or local board by Canada, a province or territory, or a crown agency of any of them, and a position, plan, procedure, criteria, or instruction to be applied to any negotiations carried on or to be carried on by or on behalf of the municipality or local board. At 6:55 for the following reasons. Item 13.1, supplemental review of non-core service number 1. Item 13.2, quarterly staffing update.
All in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Thank you. We'll now rise from in camera.
Moved by Councillor Janice Ranger, seconded by Councillor Casey Owens. It resolved that council reconvene in open session at 7:50 p.m.
Any all in favor? Opposed? None noted. Item carried unanimous. Any matters of pecuniary interest rising from in camera? None noted. Item number 14.1, review of non-core services number 1, moved by Councillor Ranger, seconded by Councillor Dykens.
Madam Clerk,
Yes.
or to, can I get a recorded vote or something?
Okay.
Maybe the motion? Moved by Councillor Janice Ranger, seconded by Councillor Dolly Dykens, be it resolved that confidential report number 2024-CAO-008 entitled Supplemental Review of Non-Core Service Number 1 be received, and that council approve the engagement of consultancy services from Strategy Corp Inc. to conduct an asset review, and that the sum of $24,995 plus HST for the consultancy services be drawn from the working capital reserve. And finally, that the chief administrative officer be authorized to execute the service agreement between the corporation of the town of Kirkland Lake and Strategy Corp Inc. in the form and content satisfactory to the chief administrative officer.
Aye.
Sorry, Councillor Ranger?
Aye.
Councillor Shada?
Aye.
Councillor Owens?
No.
Councillor Dykens?
Yes.
Councillor Olin?
Reluctantly, yes.
Councillor Kylie is not present. And Mayor White.
Sorry. What are the votes? Can I see your paper, please? Nay. Okay. Item is carried. Item number 15.1, bylaw number 24-063.
Moved by Councillor Latchada, seconded by Councillor Rick Owen, be resolved that the following bylaw be read, numbered, passed, signed by the mayor and the municipal clerk, and the seal of the corporation be affixed thereto. Bylaw number 24-063, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council at its meeting held Tuesday, July 16th, 2024.
All in favor? Opposed? Item carried unanimous. Item number 16, adjournment.
Moved by Councillor William Stranger, seconded by Councillor Barry Jenkins, be it resolved that this regular meeting of council do now adjourn at 7:53 PM.
All in favor? Opposed? Item carried unanimous. Thank you, everyone.